1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sumera Kamal. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says the federal provincial governments NDMA and Pak Army are engaged in rescue and relief operations in flood-hit areas across the country. Finance Minister says the government may consider importing vegetables and other edible items from any country to facilitate people in the wake of the destruction of standing crops in Pakistan. The friendly countries have sped up the process of sending relief goods and medicine for flood-affected people of Pakistan and pledged more assistance. President has stressed the need for Pak-German bilateral cooperation to mitigate the negative fallout of climate change in the backdrop of devastating floods in Pakistan. China says it will continue to enhance cooperation with Pakistan in disaster prevention, mitigation and global climate response. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, All-Party Suriyat Conference has called for shutdown on Thursday to mark the first death anniversary of Sayyid Ali Gilani. Japanese Prime Minister has announced a $30 billion investment in Africa. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has directed the concerned authorities to utilize all available resources for relief of flood-affected people. He issued these directives during a visit of flood relief camps in Nowshera and Charsadda today. On this occasion, the Prime Minister also interacted with the children and flood-affected people in the camps. Shehbaz Sharif said the federal and provincial governments, along with NDMA and Pak Army, are working for the rehabilitation of the flood-affected people. He further said the government is providing 1 million rupees compensation to those whose family member lost their lives in flood, while 25,000 rupees are being dispersed among all flood-affected families. Earlier, Chief Secretary Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Dr. Shehzad Bangash briefed the Prime Minister about the damages caused by flood. He was informed that necessary items, tents, floods, foods and medicines have been provided in all camps. Shehbaz Sharif expressed satisfaction over the necessary arrangements made for the relief of flood-affected people in the camps. Later, talking to media persons in Charsadda, the Prime Minister said rehabilitation process of flood-affected people and restoration of infrastructure will be completed in collaboration with provincial governments. He said the flood has badly damaged the standing crops and infrastructure in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Shehbaz Sharif said over 30 million people have been badly affected by the devastating flood, out of which 200,000 stranded people were rescued by Pakistan Army. The Prime Minister said the government is contacting friendly countries for aid to help rehabilitate the flood-affected people. Earlier, the Prime Minister distributed compensation checks among affected families in Nowshera and Charsadda districts. Finance Minister Miftah Ismail has lamented PTI and its leaders for allegedly conspiring to sabotage the IMF program. Talking to media in Islamabad today, he said the incumbent ruling party has put its politics at stake to save the state by taking tough decisions to protect the country from bankruptcy. He further said Prime Minister has announced ₹1 billion for Sindh and Balochistan, and there is more demand of ₹100 billion for relief and rehabilitation. He said in this situation of crisis, PTI's actions are highly condemnable. Replying to a question, the Finance Minister said the federal government will take concrete steps to uplift the living standards of the people of merged districts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as they have rendered unmatched sacrifices for the motherland. He said the federal government will release all the funds meant for Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, but the irony of the fact is that the provincial government inducted 54,000 employees without allocating proper funds, which tantamounts to crime. To another question, the Finance Minister said the government may consider importing vegetables and other edible items from any country to facilitate the people in the wake of the destruction of standing crops in Pakistan due to recent floods. The UAE authorities have contacted Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa for flood relief assistance and pledged 20 aircraft sorties relief equipment to assist the flood victims across Pakistan. According to ISPR, friendly countries have pledged support to Pakistan relief and rehabilitation efforts to help flood victims. 4 military aircraft from Turkey and 2 others from UAE have reached Pakistan, while 1 military aircraft from UAE will land this evening. Similarly, 2 aircraft from China will reach Pakistan in next 48 hours. Bahrain has pledged 1 aircraft to help assist food victims. The relief goods being brought through these aircraft include tentage, medicine and food items. Meanwhile, troops are continuously carrying out relief efforts in the flood-hit areas. 8 tons of food items were moved to Sobatpur area of Balochistan. 4 tons of rations each were sent to Dera Ismail Khan in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Pannu Akil in Sindh. This is Radio Pakistan. Ambassadors designate of Germany, Spain, Belgium, Libya, Kenya and Ethiopia presented their credentials to President Dr. Arif Alvi in Islamabad today. German Ambassador Mr. Alfred Granis, Spain Ambassador Mr. Jose Antonio, the Ambassador of Belgium, Mr. Charles Delon, Ambassador of Libya, Mr. Muammar Z.O., Ambassador of Kenya, Ms. Mary Nyambura, and Ambassador of Ethiopia, Mr. Jamal Beker Abdullah, also made separate calls on the President. Talking to the German ambassador, the President stressed the need for bilateral cooperation between the two countries to mitigate the negative fallout of climate change and global warming against the backdrop of devastating floods in Pakistan. While talking to the ambassador of Spain, the president appreciated the Spanish support to Pakistan on GSP Plus scheme and hoped that this support will continue in future as well. Talking to the Belgian ambassador, Dr. Arif Alvi stressed the need to substantially increase the volume of bilateral trade from its existing $1.35 billion. Interacting with the ambassador of Libya, the president expressed the hope that the new ambassador appointed after a gap of 11 years would work towards further deepening the relationship between the two brotherly nations. Talking to the Kenyan ambassador, the president expressed satisfaction over the existing level of bilateral cooperation and coordination in the areas of trade, economy, defense and border management. During his discussion with the Ethiopian ambassador, Dr. Arif Alvi welcomed the increasing cooperation between the two countries in the aviation sector and the commencement of 2 weekly direct flights reconnecting Karachi with Africa through Addis Ababa. China says it will continue to enhance cooperation with Pakistan in disaster prevention and mitigation as well as global climate response. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian, while addressing a news conference in Beijing today, said China and Pakistan are all-weather strategic cooperative partners and true friends and good brothers sharing weal and woe. He said China will provide more assistance to Pakistan in its flood relief efforts and post-disaster reconstruction. The spokesperson said in the light of situation on the ground and based on Pakistan's needs, China has decided to provide an additional batch of emergency humanitarian supplies, including 25,000 tents and other supplies in the dire need. He said Red Cross Society of China will provide $300,000 emergency cash assistance to the Pakistan Red Crescent Society, while All Pakistani Chinese Enterprises Association has donated 15 million rupees to the Prime Minister's Flood Relief Fund. The All-Party Hurriyat Conference has called upon the Kashmiris living across the line of control and abroad to hold protest demonstrations on Thursday, the first martyrdom anniversary of veteran Kashmiri leader Sayyid Ali Gilani. In a statement, All-Party Hurriyat Conference General Secretary Maulvi Bashir Ahmed Irfani reiterated a call for shutdown and a march towards the grave of Sayyid Ali Gilani at Haidarpura, Srinagar on the day. He said that India can kill Kashmiris but cannot defeat spirit of freedom. Japan's Prime Minister has announced a $30 billion investment in Africa. He made the announcement while virtually addressing the African Nations Summit co-hosted by Senegal and Tunisia in capital Tunis. He said his country will contribute vigorously to African development. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and humid weather is likely to prevail in most plain areas of the country during the next 12 hours. However, partly cloudy weather with chances of rain, wind and thunder shower is expected at a few places in northeast Punjab, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/radio Pakistan News Official.